Hi, thank you for coming in. I'm really glad you're here. What
Yeah.
brings you in here today?
Um, my neighbors, mostly
Mm,
my downstairs neighbors,
yeah.
have been kind of, I don't know, kind of ruining my week for the
Ruining your
past month.
week?
They're very loud,
Mm,
which is fine. I expect neighbors to be loud,
mm-hmm,
but they are like, I can hear the music vibrating through the ground below
mm,
me, and then I can feel it on the ceiling as well, which is how
mm,
loud they are. And it's not even music that's like
mm,
good music, it's just. Bah, 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 bah.
mm, mm. So you feel like this music has really impacted your life
Yeah.
and how you're living and your day-to-day
Mm-hmm.
aspects?
Because I don't get a whole lot of sleep. And
Yeah.
so when I want to go to sleep, I expect not to hear bah, bah, bah,
Mm-hmm,
bah, or feel that
mm-hmm,
vibrating through my pillow
mm-hmm,
below me. So,
mm,
but they've just been causing a lot of stress because they're complaining about us, my roommates and I, when we haven't done anything wrong.
mm,
So it's just causing me a lot of stress because I don't want to get kicked out of my apartment.
mm. So you feel maybe there might be a sense of reservation. You don't want to bring anything up because you're scared of what
Mm-hmm.
consequences may occur if you do bring something up, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain more about that?
Well, they've lived there longer, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Um, we just moved in August, and I'm just nervous because it's my first apartment. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
it to be a bad impression of like we're, oh, they're just the college kids in the apartment. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be loud and obnoxious when we're not.
Mm-hmm.
But they're always yelling, and we can hear them yelling the entire night
Mm-hmm.
and into the morning, and then through the entire day. And it's like hearing all that yelling brings up like I don't like hearing people yell, and so when I hear yelling through the floors, it kind of throws off my whole day. So,
I wonder if there are some ways that you can approach your neighbors in a respectful manner to ask them like what's going on, get some more context.
mm,
Can you think of some ways that you might be able to do that? Maybe we can work from there.
um, yeah, I've thought about it. I've
Mm,
thought about going down and like introducing myself to them, or like bringing some cookies and like
mm-hmm.
humanizing myself to
Mm-hmm.
them, so I'm not just the upstairs neighbor,
Yeah.
which they haven't had an upstairs neighbor for months because that apartment was vacant and now
Mm-hmm.
it's filled. And so normal sounds probably sound like super, super loud to them,
Yeah.
but we're not,
Uh,
which is frustrating because I don't like when people say, like, I'm one thing when I'm
yeah.
not.
That is very frustrating. I'm sorry to hear that. Mm. So you think maybe these neighbors might not be considerate of the people around them, or do you think maybe they don't know, or what?
I think they
You know,
know.
do you think they know?
I think they know.
Yeah.
They're having screaming, yelling
Mm-hmm.
battles to each other in front of their poor kids
Mm-hmm.
who also scream and cry all day long,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine because kids are kids. I get that. But when a kid's screaming and crying all day long and the parents are yelling and screaming all day long, it's kind of concerning.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think they know. And they also have the like apartment lady, like manager living beneath them.
Mm-hmm.
And her and I have had conversations about them. And it's just, they know.
I wonder if the apartment landlord has had conversations directly with them, not just with you, but with them. Do you think, you might not be part of those conversations,
Mm.
but how do you envision that those conversations went?
Um, I'm not sure. I feel like she's a nice lady, the apartment manager, but I feel like whenever I encounter the neighbors beneath me,
Mm-hmm.
it like, I don't know, it makes me feel like nervous or like scared even being around them
Mm-hmm.
because of how often they're yelling and how like the things that we've seen them like do or say or yell at their like kiddos.
Yeah.
So just it's very negative. So and it's just bringing a lot of negative into my life,
Mm-hmm.
making me feel stressed, and I can't study well in my apartment because I can't focus, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just bringing a lot of anxiety because if I don't study well, then my classes aren't going to go well, and then I will feel like I'm just wasting time.
That's hard. So you feel maybe there's some resentment build up that might be barricading your ability to go down and interact with them, talk with them, and get to know them a little bit more in their situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. I wonder like if you can put in some sort of uh, challenge or expectation for yourself, saying like some goal is a better way of
Mm-hmm.
phrasing it. Saying like, oh, by the end of this week I'm going to make them cookies, go down there, knock on their door, and just say hi to them, and maybe form a friendship. I wonder if that's a
Mm-hmm.
possibility or something that's within your wheelhouse. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility.
Mm.
I think it's also like nerve wracking talking to new people, especially
Mm.
people that think or have like complained about us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and who we've been like, we haven't put in like a notice of like, hey, y'all are being loud. It's just been more of like, oh my gosh, they're loud again.
Mm.
Nobody can study.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that like the goal of like making cookies and like going down and knocking on their door and being like, hey, I made these for you and your kiddos. We haven't met yet. I'm Anna. Do you like some cookies? I live upstairs.
Mm.
I think that would take a lot of stress off.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm. So what I'm hearing you say is just there's a lot going on with noise, stress, volume, inability to sleep, inability to
mm-hmm.
study, just so much that's impacting your day-to-day rhythm because of these neighbors downstairs.
Yeah.
Um, and you do feel scared and anxious to go talk to them
Mm-hmm.
because of this animosity that's been happening between
Yeah.
you guys. To me, it sounds like uh, there may be something underlying, some being afraid of human engagement, of social interaction, especially with people who you might not have already the best standing with.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how you may be able to break past that barrier and feel a little more comfortable going down there with those cookies. Like, is there anything you feel like you can prep yourself? Any words of encouragement? Any way, maybe self care day before you
Mm-hmm.
go down and talk to them? What do you think works for you when it comes to pushing past this barrier of uncomfortability when it comes to talking with new people?
Um, I think definitely taking like time to like sit down and like breathe and
Mm.
like calm myself before going and like if I'm going to like confront somebody about something that's been like a barrier to like let's say me and like a friendship
Mm-hmm.
or me and my relationship with like my neighbor.
Mm.
I think having the goal like of sitting down and like breathing and being like, hey, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just have to talk to them and then once you talk to them, like then you can breathe again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Mm. I feel like you're on a really good track right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you've kind of realized something that you can do to help calm yourself before you
Yeah.
do this. You've set a goal to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we said by next week, correct?
Yeah.
Is this something you want to try to do? Okay. So by next week, you're gonna calm yourself down. You're gonna make
Mm-hmm.
your, maybe baking these cookies might be something that'll help calm yourself down too.
I'll eat
You know,
them
yeah, you
on
can
the
eat
way
them
there.
too. Yeah, that'll be really really good and
Mm-hmm.
delicious, and I'm sure it'll help give you a better mental like headspace before you go down and have this rough conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I totally get your frustration in this. It's a very serious issue when it impacts your day to day schedule.
Yeah, it does.
Um, uh, like I said, I sound like you're. It sounds like you're on a really good path towards that. You've made that goal. It sounds like you're wanting to do that. You have all the steps in place. I'm just thinking like, I wonder what do you think you're gonna tell them? Like when you knock on the door and they open, what are you gonna say?
Um, I don't know. It's gonna be hard to start,
Mm,
like even going down the stairs, just because I'm gonna be so anxious about it.
mm-hmm,
But I feel like once I finally get to the door and like knock on it, I think I'll probably want to like introduce myself first. That way, I'm not just some weird girl handing cookies
mm,
that maybe they don't recognize me or
mm-hmm,
something. Even though the dad definitely recognizes me,
mm,
awkward eye contact all the time.
mm,
When I hover by the stairs when they're yelling,
mm,
and I'm like, oh my god. And then I run away because I get scared.
mm-hmm.
Not like run away, but I very fastly walk away.
You feel a bit of tension that you
Yeah.
just don't want to be a part of. You feel uncomfortable, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm just gonna get out of here to ease this discomfort. Yeah, totally. That makes sense. Yeah,
I'm very scared of like confrontation.
yeah.
And this is like, besides the noise and not being able to study, I think this is the part that stresses me out the most
Yeah,
and what's been like on my mind and why I like needed to talk to somebody.
definitely. This is a really big step. If you're scared of confrontation, I mean, this is a really big thing, and you're
Mm-hmm.
really strong for even making the goal and thinking about this and coming to me and saying how, how can I do this? This is what's going on. That's really powerful, and I thank you for doing that and allowing us to be able to
Mm-hmm.
work through that together. Uh, are you? Would you like some input on maybe something you can go down there and say? Is that something you're looking for?
Sure.
Okay. Um, of course, this is you can change this depending
Mm-hmm.
on how you naturally talk to people because you still
Yeah.
want to be yourself at the end of the
Yeah.
day. I would go down there as and knock on their door and be like, "Hey, my name's Anna, and I'm your upstairs neighbor, and I baked you these cookies. I just want to get to know you guys. You guys have been in here for a while. I've been upstairs for a while, and I feel like we haven't really connected as much as I would like to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
can I come in? Can we talk?" And that's a really great way to segue into having a more in-depth conversation of I just wanted to let you guys know uh, I've been really struggling with the volume levels and the noise levels that's been happening with you guys. It's impeding and getting in the way of my lifestyle and how I live and my day-to-day process, my studying. So I'm just wondering if we can come to some sort of agreement, some sort of compromise with this,
Yeah.
and make sure that a compromise is a really great way of solving something because
Mm-hmm.
it gives up a little bit of what you're looking for and it gives up a little bit of what they're looking for you to kind of meet at the middle. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what do you feel about that? About everything I just gave you? How do you think you're gonna tackle that? Are you gonna use some of the words and sentences that I offered, or?
I think the first part, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I do get really nervous being around their family
Mm-hmm.
and like in specific like the dad I get nervous being around.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably wouldn't be comfortable asking to like step
Mm-hmm.
inside. Like I'd be a little bit more comfortable with my first step being like introducing myself and being like,
Yeah.
hey, I haven't actually like met you guys,
Mm-hmm.
but I just wanted to give you these cookies.
Definitely, that's a very good goal, and I think that's something you should definitely do. Hopefully, if all goes according to plan, we can take this slow, and
Mm-hmm.
next week when we meet up, we can talk more in depth about What about the dad in this situation makes you feel uneasy? Hopefully, we can get down to the bottom of that. Hopefully, we can solve that issue. That way, you feel a lot more comfortable going into their space and having a more in-depth conversation. Do you think that's something that sounds good to you for next week?
Yeah, I feel like this week would be a lot. But
Yeah, that
the
would
plan
be
for next week would be
definitely
better.
cool. Well, I'll go ahead and get you scheduled for next week. Does Tuesday work? Awesome. 3 o'clock? Same time? Cool. I'll get you scheduled for 3 o'clock next week. It was really great talking with you. I'm glad we got to talk about this, and I hope that this first introduction of yours goes really well. I'm excited to hear about it next week. Thank you. Have a good one.
You did it.
Uh oh.